Hello everyone and welcome to the Tried&Refused Productions channel. This is long overdue. Thank you Janhvi for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And so I'll just get straight to it. I don't want to do like an elaborate intro for
Please
you.
don't.
Yeah. So let's get to brass tacks. I wanted to first say that, most of your filmography, you've bounced off of great actors. You've shared screen space with a lot of great actors. And me knowing sort of the original source material, I know that there's a lot of pressure on you individually, because this is a case of individual perseverance as well. Was that daunting for you, saying yes to this film, because there's so much pressure on you delivering in those solo scenes?
Honestly, yeah, but I think by the time that I'd signed this film, one thing that I'd understood about myself is that I'm more comfortable in scenes that don't have dialogues. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this film is me without dialogue. Yeah. So if anything, that made me feel a little secure. And also, I thought about it a lot. I knew that I had the cushioning of a lot of strong actors always, be it Ishan in my first film, Pankaj sir, Zoya as a director in my second one, Vijay Varma and Surekha ma'am. So I just kind of wanted to test myself as well. I mean, my co-star for the majority of the film is a rat. Yeah. And hopefully I've
and I think it's also great that you're like getting into like tough waters to try to prove yourself as well, because have you seen the original Malayalam film?
Honestly, I saw parts of it, because when Papa told me about the film, he was like, I want to make this film and I want to make it with you. Yeah. And already in my head I was kind of dismissive of it, because it would have been another remake. So I skipped through it. And it already looked very daunting, but I went to him and I said, maybe we shouldn't. But what then convinced me otherwise was how emotionally invested he was in it. And then meeting Mathu sir, who was like the most pavam person in the world. Like, you just want to do anything and everything he says. And yeah.
I think that also like works to your benefit, because now you're like, Mili is a new character in itself, in terms of you not mimicking anything or seeing the original source material and like trying to like almost play by play do the same sequences. So I guess like that's a good thing.
I guess so. It also was an impossibility to prepare yourself for what you would want to do in that freezer. And usually in most of my films, there's a decent amount of prep that I approach my characters with, reading the script over and over again, etc., or like sitting with the director. But Mathu sir said, I want you to read the script once and then don't touch it. Don't learn your lines, don't show up on set with anything planned. And I just want to wing it. And it was a very intimidating approach, but that's what we tried.
No, again, you're challenging yourself. So I think that's always good. I wanted to say that, one thing that I resonated with your filmography especially was with Gunjan, the father-daughter narrative, because I thought it was heartfelt and organic. Yeah. So I'm absolutely, as most of the country is obsessed with Pankaj Tripathi and Manoj Pahwa sir. Yeah. So could you just tell me like how they are on set, both of them, if you can, and what's like the learning process, because it is such a privilege to be on set with them and see their magic.
Is. And it's a game changer. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's like going to 5 film schools in one sketch, just observing them. Pankaj sir actually took a mannat to get him to say yes to the film. One thing that they have in common is that they are so relaxed. They're not rigid at all. And I think in how easy they are in front of the camera, that enables them to be more alive in the moment. Like Pankaj sir, to the extent that I've done scenes with him where his chai has been here. And if the camera's panning, he'll pick up the chai and drink it and then give his dialogue. He's that. I've never seen him stressed. I don't even know if that man learned his lines. But I think that also comes with as much experience as they've had, not just in films and TV, but also in life. And they know the country and the people of this country so well. Yeah. And
how is Manoj Pahwa sir, say, different from Pankaj sir?
He's equally relaxed, if not more so. I think he's directed a little bit. So, and done a lot of theatre. So I think that he had a little more inputs in terms of the text of the scene. He's just a very fun person. So actually they're very similar now that I think about it, because they infuse comedy into almost everything. Yeah. Even if it's a scene that on paper has no comedy, Pankaj sir has this thing, if you've noticed, he'll put a Tum Hawai Jahaz.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
always, he'll do the action first and then say the dialogue, and it's very quirky. And even Manoj sir, he'll always do something. His timing is impeccable, so he'll always infuse comedy.
The in-between dialogues really like capture those moments.
Yeah, they're so alive.
I wanted to ask you in this sense of skepticism of you saying that, okay, you know, it is a remake. What I loved about Good Luck Jerry and its reception was that it was mostly about the quality of the movie. And that's what I guess the privilege of an OTT release is, that it's about the merits and demerits of the film. But suddenly, I don't know why it's happened, the discourse around films theatrically are just about numbers. Do you fear that with Mili? Because I do feel like you've given your heart and soul to this project, and I've heard you in several interviews talk about it. But do you fear that? And what's your assessment of, say, how people are consuming content like that?
I think there's a realignment in how audiences are digesting content. I think that we also need to realign our expectations to that. But having said that, I really think it comes down to, if you've made a good film, it'll get its due. Now, if that due meant 30 crores pre-pandemic and 20 now, then that's fine. But I think you can still gauge the kind of love that a film gets or the kind of respect that it gets, regardless of it being tainted by a number or not. I think that there's still a longevity to it. Like, I know that there have been films pre-pandemic that haven't reached that blockbuster number, but have still gotten a certain amount of love. And I'd like to be optimistic about our film for the same reasons. But having said that, and I've objectively observed this, and you being someone whose opinions on films that I really respect, I'd like to know your opinion as well. I don't think there's been a film that's been like Mughal-e-Azam. That's tanked. Like, it's not like baffling that some I just feel like before pre-pandemic we had an upper hand where we could rely on star value to guarantee a certain amount of opening, and I think right now the only thing that can guarantee monetary success is the film and the content of it, and I think that's a necessary adjustment that's happening.
No, that's an accurate assessment, and I feel like a lot of people believe so as well. That, you know, there's not been a knockout film that has failed. And the storytelling's paramount right now.
Exactly, and I think that's an adjustment that we all needed. I feel like, you know, this is a medium that's meant for the audiences, to serve the audiences, to entertain them and move them. And I think somewhere along the way, it became a little bit about commercials and vanity and egos. And maybe this is what we needed. And so if in that realignment, a couple of films are collateral, and I'm hoping Mili isn't, then that's fine, because I still believe in what we've made. We've made it for the right reasons and with the right intent. So it'll be what it is. And
no, I think that's what's most important, intent. I wanted to ask you about Mili specifically because, you know, connecting with a character probably who's not in the same realm or strata as you, you can either go method with it or just understand the core values of that character. So what's your process in, say, getting into the shoes of Mili?
I don't think I've ever played a character that's been from my strata or world. I think the closest was Dhadak, and I think I sucked the most in it. But I think having the experience of these other characters helped my understanding of Mili's social background a little bit. But also her personal core, her family dynamic was something that I understood. She doesn't have a mom. She's adjusting to taking care of her father and making a living. Even though the dynamics and the society and the pressures are completely different and the worlds are completely different, I think I understood her emotional core. And I've spent a lot of time shooting in these cities, and I've made it a point since Dhadak, but more so after Gunjan and interacting with actors like Pankaj sir, to understand that I'm telling the stories of the people of my country, and the majority of my country is not staying the way that I'm living or driving around the way I'm driving. Like, so I need to understand that and get to know them. And I think that journey had started beforehand, and hopefully that knowledge somewhere had helped me. I think Jerry especially was a huge educational process in understanding what it's like to live for people from other strata
No, that's
of society.
beautifully said, because I think Pankaj Tripathi sir said it in multiple interviews that a lot of people staying in their own echo chamber then don't know what India is all about. And it's so important to explore, how people interact with each other. Okay, more than Mili, I wanted to know the concept of, say, your social media presence is huge right now, and I definitely feel consuming so much of online content, each move, each statement is dissected, analyzed. I wonder what's your relationship with it in terms of when do you disconnect, how much do you read? Because in this day and age, I feel like it really takes a toll on your mental health if you consume too much of it. So what's your relationship with it right now?
I think my relationship is the same that it's always been, except for the fact that I think I'd let it affect me more before. I've always understood that it's a non-tangible world. It's not reality. You can't, I don't know, there's something very creepy about the fact that it's on your phone and you can get lost in, it's like a black hole almost. I want to maintain being disconnected from it because see, there are enough people on social media that will make you feel like you're the coolest person in the world. And there are enough people that will make you feel like no matter what you do, you are worthless. So I think you need to exercise a disconnect. And I think the way that I did it before was that I was extremely inactive on social media. And then slowly I realized that not taking it seriously doesn't mean to be away from it. It can just mean to have fun with it. And that's what I'm trying to do because I am an expressive person. And I do have a side to me that I want people to see and want people to connect with that is different from the person in my films. If you only saw Jerry and Mili and Gunjan, you might think I'm like a really sad, docile or like troubled individual.
You know, it is so interesting on what you're saying because it's like, for me, damned if you do, damned if you don't, double-edged sword. You're looking at, say, a Ranbir who is not on social media and who does an interview, and that's like a headline because everything is dissected to a point, and some people, actors, using social media to set their sort of personal motives, political motives, and that alienates them. So it's a vicious cycle.
There's no winning, really.
There's no winning.
You just can't. And honestly, I wish I could do what Ranbir does, but I think he has the luxury to do it because he's Janhvi Kapoor. And I want my brands because I want to earn that money, so I need to be active on social media.
No, that makes sense. That's one extreme, and then the other extremes. A good in-between is healthy, I think. One of the things that I was reading up about, especially, was seeing your mom's filmography and just the range of Hindi, Tamil, and Telugu films that she did. I wanted to know whether personally you had plans of, say, learning the language so that you can broaden your horizons beyond Hindi cinema. Is that something you've thought about? You
know, my mom always told me, she's like, it's going to bite you in your ass that you haven't learned Tamil or Telugu. And I was like, yeah, whatever, like, I don't want to learn all of this. But it really has, and more than for the reasons of film and cinema, I think it's more about just, I crave that connection that I feel so deeply but feel like I can't express because I don't know the language. And unfortunately now I don't have the time to learn the language unless it'll be specific for a film, and then I'll allocate that time for prep. But I will get to it. I'll definitely do it. I really want to work in Malayalam or Tamil or Telugu films. It means a lot to me.
No, it'll be beautiful to see as well, and I think it'll like add another dimension to you as an actor.
Yeah, and I think not just in respect to films of that region, I think even in
personally as well, right?
Yeah.
I also had a request just as a dancer that I was loving when you were posting classical dance videos, and because I was speaking to Madhuri ma'am during the Fame game, and I was telling her that, you know, it's sad for me when I see Hindi films and sort of the dying art form of classical dance being integrated into films. So I hope that you keep on training, and somehow or the other in the future.
I really hope so. I'm dying for it.
Yeah, because it was lovely to see, because also I was watching like the Tandav video of Sridevi ma'am from Chalbaz, and I was like seeing so many videos. I was like, she'll be proud if she sees that as well. So yeah. So again, congratulations on Mili, and I hope people see the intent behind it, and I hope it delivers as well.
I hope
and
so too.
it was lovely to talk to you.
Thank you so much for doing this.